I wanted to make a good movie. I wanted to make a movie that felt like my stand up, with that kind of edge that made people laugh and made people uncomfortable and was sweet and edgy at the same time. So, and I hadn't felt I'd done that yet in the movies. In the past, when I've done movies, it's like, okay, I'm following the structure of whatever. I'm always watching movies when I do write movies. So this movie, it's structured, but it's really free flowing. It's not like act break, act break, act break like a normal movie. Like, we jump, in and out. We're in different years, and the movie starts in the middle, you know. So I don't know. I didn't with this movie. I didn't. It feels like my stand up. It's just started where I wanted to start and it ended it where I wanted to end. I love New York movies. I love all the Woody stuff and Nora Ephron and you know Spike stuff. But one thing I always notice about movies in New York, it's not even a bad thing. They always take place in one part of New York. It's like it's very segregated. It's like they're just in one part. So my New York shifts economically a lot. In 1 minute you're in the projects, and 1 minute you're at a press junket, and like those things can be 5 minutes. We're in New York. You're kind of always 5 minutes away from the projects, no matter where you are. It's kind of the beautiful thing in New York. It's the best thing about New York. Let's hope that never disappears. The poor and the rich kind of live close by, you know, not a far away, and I wanted to see that in a movie. In a lot of ways, a movie's about the difference or the slight difference in black fame and white fame or just fame. And yeah, I got relatives that live in the projects. I got most of my relatives don't make a lot of money. And if I want to go see my aunt or my cousin or whatever, I'm going to have to probably go into a not great neighborhood to see them. And, I don't see them every day. I don't even see them every month, but they're kind of used to seeing me. You know what I mean? It's not a big thing. When I go to a family reunion, I don't get chicken first. You know what I mean? Like they serve an old person. It's not like, oh, Chris Rock's here. The big challenge as a director is always just working with limited resources. Um, and by the way, it's challenging and freeing. Uh, it's challenging because you got to really, really, really make absolute decisions on the fly. You really don't have time to get coverage of everything. You just don't, you know. But it's freeing because sometimes people direct in a way that's just scared. So not having a ton of money kind of makes you think more clear about the task at hand. The scene in the projects was probably a little bit challenging, only because it wasn't really written out. A lot of it was improv. So it's like, okay, it was like double dutch. Like, okay, where do I fit in? Where do I get in? Where do I get in? Where do I get in? So you got all these guys joking, joke, 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 hungry young comedians coming you're like in the ring and they're trying to kill you. They want your job. You know what I mean? And I got to really bring it. I'm expected to be funnier than these guys. So that was a challenging scene just as an actor. Like, and still be funny in these guys and be in character and have it make sense about the movie. I wrote a script and there is some improvisation. Now, you can't let everybody improv. You know, Tracy Morgan can improv. You know what I mean? Other people, you're like, hey, you know, maybe you should stick to the script a little bit. What I tried to do, what I learned in this movie, what I try to say all the time now is, yeah, it's my movie, yeah, it's my script, but it's your part. It's not my part. So I wouldn't even call it improv. You just let people make the role their own. I called in some favors. Best thing about working with Scott Rudin is you learn the best people are just a phone call away. And until they say no, you got to act like you got to try to get them. So, I mean, some guys are just my friends and they kind of owed me or whatever. I've been in a bunch of Sandler movies, obviously. So he had no problem repaying the favor. Hey, I'm in the B movie for Seinfeld. You know, Jerry had no problem repaying the favor. Whoopi. I actually want to do more with Whoopi. I call Whoopi. She was right there. All of them. And some people were just like, I always wanted to work with Cedric. I love Cedric. In the movie, my character makes most of his money playing a bear. A bear. You never see his face. In my real life, I make most of my money playing a zebra. Yeah, I've been in other movies. I've had success. But I've never made anything anywhere near as big as the Three Madagascars. So, but I don't hate playing Marty. It's kind of a fun thing to do. But but if that was my only success, I'd be in trouble. I met Eddie first. I met Eddie Murphy in, hard time even remember, probably like 87, 88. And I hung out with Eddie. Eddie let me hang out with his entourage. Back in the day, Ed used to roll big. He still rolls kind of big. Anyway, so I remember coming to his, I'm out in LA, never been to LA, never been on a plane, never been in a hotel, all this other stuff, right? And when I get to his office, Keenan Wayans is there, Robert Townsend is there, Arsenio Hall is there. It's like all of black comedy was there. Paul Mooney, who I met for the first time there. We ended up going to the Comedy Act Theater. I saw Robin Harris for the first time. So I met all those guys through Eddie. The movie's it's top 5, and it's about the day in the life of a comedian. The comedian's name is Andre Allen. And on this day, he's got a movie coming out, and the next day he's getting married. So it's the most hectic day of his life. He's doing movie stuff and wedding stuff. And during the day, he's being trailed by a journalist, Chelsea Brown, played by the lovely Rosario Dawson. And as we go through the day, we find out more about him. And he becomes a man, you know what I mean? And then I'm in the movie, Chris Rock's in the movie, and J.B. Smooth's in the movie, and Tracy Morgan's in the movie, and Kevin Hart's in the movie, and Whoopi Goldberg, it's jokes, heart. The idea for top 5, I mean, it's such a guy thing. I don't know if women do it. You get a bunch of guys together, and they start listing, you get a bunch of guys in a barbershop or whatever, the top 5 running backs. Earl Campbell, Tony Dorsett, OJ, Jim Brown, Walter Payton. Whoa, no Barry Sanders? It's that. It's like it always happens. So, it's always, you get a bunch of guys, especially a bunch of black guys together, and girls even. You're going to get the top 5 conversations going to come up.